Thank you so much for joining us today on the first edition of Savikalpa Sanchaar. We have here with us Dr. Bhanu Sharma, a cannabinoid expert and an Ayurvedic physician with over a decade of experience, and our in-house doctor for Savikalpa as well. And my name is Diya Singh, and I will be here as your co-host, also a layman, today asking Dr. Bhanu Sharma very silly questions, some smart, I hope, on cannabinoid, sleep, and insomnia.
Thank you so much, Dia, for having me here.
It's a pleasure. All right. So, Dr. Bhanu, why we'll start with the most simplest question of all. Why is it that we need sleep, apart from the fact that I absolutely love my good 8-9 hours of sleep? What is it that really happens behind the scenes? Why do we need it?
See, Dia, basically, sleep is just like mother. The way she cuddles us and she nurtures us. Exactly, the sleep is doing same thing for
Yeah.
us. Sleep actually rejuvenates, repair, and restores the entire physiology. Once you go into the sleeping mode, it's not just giving a break or gap to what we are doing, but actually it is removing your entire mental, physical, and emotional toxins that are generated throughout the day. Basically, if we say, when we talk about the longevity, that happens when we sleep because the repair of the tissue happens only when you have the most deep and relaxed sleep, and that too in the night.
Yeah, that's why they say sleeping is a good remedy for aging the right way as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
because if you're not sleeping enough, and you're inviting inflammation,
True, true.
and that
fine
causes
lines.
premature aging.
Yeah, interesting. So, if sleep is so important, it's clearly something that nurtures you and it heals you while you dream. How come it's so hard for some of us to really fall asleep? And what are some possible reasons why one might not be able to get a good night's sleep?
See, there are various kind of reasons and innumerable to say, but majorly when people come to us, two-thirds of the people are actually battling with this problem because of it is self-created ailment. There's no discipline, there's no regularity, and at what time they need to sleep, at what time they're getting up, late night mindless scrolling, OTTs, late night parties. I'm not saying that one shouldn't do that, but
Yeah.
then discipline is again because it's just throwing away your natural rhythm of your body.
Correct.
One. Second thing is why we need to reframe this entire thing that sleep is waste of time.
Oh.
You need to understand this. Less sleep means low productivity. So this is one thing. Then of course you have other factors like physical factors are there, mental factors are there. Everyone is into stress, but the constant thought process that's going all the time into your brain that will not allow you to sleep. So people are there who cannot just cope up with that stress.
Correct.
Everyone has their own way of handling the stress.
Correct.
So that could actually trigger it out. People had some kind of sorrow, grief incident, traumatic incident in their past life. That could also happen like that. Then one more thing is that any kind of ailment, like physical factors, when we talk about them, any ailment you're battling with has pain associated with that. Will not let you to sleep properly, will interfere with the sleep. Then aging is one factor. As you start aging, it will be one factor. Then the most important factor is, especially in the women, menopausal insomnia is becoming very common these days. And one, like people are not sleeping, long day naps.
Yeah.
That disturbs with the rhythm.
Yeah.
And lack of exercise.
So, do you think naps are healthy?
Yes. That too, 20 minutes a day nap is not bad.
It actually boosts your brain growth as well,
Correct.
right?
But if you're sleeping beyond that, then it is actually disrupting the adenosine level of your body, which actually creates the sleep pressure into your system.
Okay.
So that gets disturbed, and people are not then people are very much into sedentary lifestyle. So the need of getting sleep will not be created.
Yeah. Yeah. I think also very important to realize is that sometimes when we don't get enough sleep, when we're not consistent with our just routines in general, we do things which are not very healthy for us. For example, someone like me would start having lots of coffee, and I can feel that the first day when I'm a little when I'm a little low on sleep, I might actually be a little bit more productive just on the first day because I'm pumping myself with so much of coffee, which is not good for the body at all. But the second day, I feel really, really let down. And I feel the need to actually work on having just good amount of hours of sleep. So according to you, just again a question, a layman question, is that how many hours do you think, say, someone in their 30s should sleep for, versus how many hours do you think someone in their 40s needs sleep versus someone in their 60s?
See, actually, Diya, it depends on, like, as I said, as you start aging, you sleep less. But that's not the fact that you don't require sleep, you require it, but at least in 8 to 6 hours, minimum of 8 hours, sleep is required for your productivity to improve.
Okay. Okay, interesting. Again, sticking to the same question, I know like I said, the first I'm productive, but then I start getting really irritated if I don't get enough sleep. Now, what, according to you, are some of other ill effects of sleeplessness, and are there any such effects, side effects, which I'm not able to notice now, but it'll probably show on my body, my health, years from now,
Yeah.
if I don't get enough sleep now?
So see, first and the foremost thing, you will start experiencing within few days if you're not sleeping. I mean, you're sleep deprived. So you'll start experiencing, like, poor memory, poor focus. You will feel dull. You will feel, you're not able to concentrate. The alertness is missing somewhere.
Of course.
Difficulty in taking quick decisions. That is something which you start experiencing within few days. But when you go deeper, when you're sticking to this routine for days and months and then years, then people are not even realizing, because we can see this generation is actually doing this, right?
Yeah.
So there are hormones in our body which goes absolutely on toss. So, and from your digestion, from your metabolic hormones to your reproductive hormones, everything goes on a imbalance mode. People say we are eating very much healthy, we are following this diet and that diet, we are exercising, still we are not able to lose weight. Why? Because we have hormones which regulate your appetite and your metabolism, ghrelin and leptin.
Correct.
They goes into an imbalance mode. Then you tend to overeat.
Yeah.
So once you're overeating,
yeah,
you fall prey to obesity,
Yeah.
and then you're inviting problems like cardiovascular diseases, you're inviting problems like PCOD and blood sugar levels.
I think a very interesting, just a very relatable aspect in my life, as well as some of my family members' lives, is that sometimes we try to eat our food as early as possible, maybe 8, 7 sometimes, but then if you're up till maybe 11:30, 12, we'll binge in the night. We'll eat a snack in the night, or we'll order food in the night. I think I've noticed personally that something like that really, really has a big toll, not just on my sleep, but my digestion. And so what you're saying is
Yeah,
that
that is actually
low
happening.
sleep is not just related to digestion in a way, but also your heart health, your bad moods. You start fighting with everyone. Is that correct?
Yes.
Some relatable,
Correct.
tones.
Correct. And also, your memory consolidation happens at
Yeah,
that point of time.
fair.
And when you're going without, you're sleep deprived for
Yeah.
days and months. So it has been shown and proved in so many researchers that you are inviting Alzheimer's.
Really?
A lot of cancers has been connected and associated with the lack of sleep.
Okay.
Because less you sleep, higher
The
inflammation.
body has to work harder.
Yes, low immunity is there. Poor immunity, you are inviting. So, see, everything COVID will keep, viruses like COVID and everything will keep on coming and going. You have to be intact with your immune system. And how? That's only if you are sleeping enough.
I guess that's a very interesting point. Immunity, heart health, inflammation, stomach, digestion, everything, I think, is they just want you to sleep.
Correct.
Okay. All
But
right.
quality and the quantity
Yes,
has
of
to
course.
be taken care of.
Of course, of course. Now, let's talk a little bit from a tactical point of view. Again, I'll try to draw as many examples from my own life as well. Is that sometimes to fall asleep, and when I want to be consistent, I put on some sounds of rain, just drizzling sounds of rain, and it really calms me down. It balances me, and my internal chit chatter comes to a halt. So it works for me sometimes, but then I can't say that it works for me every time. So I was wondering, are there any consistent long-term solutions for sleeplessness?
Yeah, there are many, but then one has to figure it out, which is actually working for them. and whatever is working for them, then they should maintain discipline with that.
Correct.
The first and the foremost thing is you have to be, whatever the don'ts we have discussed, like, I mean, there should be consistency. Whatever
Yeah.
the aid that's helping you out, you have to be very, very regular with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you feel that this aroma is working for me, there are herbal teas which people feel that that's working for them. There are people who has a tendency of just giving them a gentle massage on the feet. That's helping them out. People are there who are meditating. People and that's really helping them out. So, but then again, you have to stick with the regular
Consistency.
Consistency is there. A discipline is needed. Then few don'ts. You have to give a curfew. Put a curfew to your coffees under 4.
And for our viewers, Dr. Bhanu is looking at my coffee while she is saying this.
Yeah. And then not just this, but also you have to, you have to understand that why we always say that, no scrolling and no access to your any kind of laptops and phones and anything an hour before.
Yeah.
Your room should be absolutely clear, calm, cool, and dark. Yes, because then you are actually preparing your body to go into that mood. So for that we always say people sleep hygiene has to be maintained, and there are so many herbs which help. Helpful ones are the ashwagandha, tagar, and in recent days cannabinoid medications.
Yeah. What about chamomile tea?
That's very, very effective because that's very calming. As I've already mentioned, anxiety is one of the cause. So it's actually helpful in bringing that anxiety levels down. So it's working on the root cause.
So how soon do you need to drink such teas or take such medications?
At least an hour before, because anything which will go into your system will take some time to work
kick
on
in as well.
Yes.
Correct. All right. So since you mentioned cannabinoid medications as well as one way to fall asleep, get a good night's sleep, let's now get in it. I know all our viewers are here to understand not just sleep, but also how cannabinoid medications can help us get a good night's sleep. So can you tell us a little bit more about how cannabinoid medications help with sleep? Simple question.
See, to understand this, we need to understand the plant cannabis, how it works on your body, and we have to know about the system that we have in our body, that's endocannabinoid system. It's just like a system we have, digestive systems are there, so many systems we have in our body. We have a system, endocannabinoid system, which actually helps you in maintaining a balance into the internal environment of your body.
Okay.
Right? Then it actually has a major role to play into very important physiological processes like your sleep, your mood, your immune, your appetite, and pain management. So anything which is causing imbalance into your body, this system actually comes into an action. Will produce endocannabinoids, will go interact with the receptors that you have into your body, and will just interact like lock and key does. And then will help you in maintaining the balance which is much needed.
Okay. And it also has something to do with inflammation?
It has. Major one.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Because it has so many cannabinoids which works in that particular manner.
And it reduces inflammation.
Yeah.
And I read somewhere that, in fact, I read from one of our blogs that we post often, is that inflammation is the root cause of everything, whether it's, a viral infection or it's, even serious problems like cancer. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Aging.
Yeah, and
aging.
Yeah.
And
everything, right?
Blood sugar levels.
Yeah. Okay. So when it comes to cannabinoids, CBD and THC get a lot of attention. Can you tell us a little bit more about these cannabinoids and what is it that they do?
See, Diya, actually, this plant cannabis has various active compounds, more than 160. And they go into your body and they will go and work exactly in the similar manner how bodies, their own cannabinoids are working.
Okay.
Right? So this is the way. And as I've said that this system, endocannabinoid, ECS system, actually helps in maintaining the homeostasis. Right? Now, if body falls short of it, then what would you do? Like half cup of water is there. You want to fill it, then what would you do? You need an external supply, right? So this plant has those cannabinoids. They will go into the body and work in the similar manner. So the major ones are the CBD and the notorious one is the THC that people think about it. But having said that, THC again has its own benefits, provided what is the quantity that we are using and what is the formulation we are using,
Okay.
right? So this CBD basically is anti-inflammatory, anti-anxiety,
Okay.
right? And THC helps you in improving the quick onset of the sleep. Now, when we talk about the insomnia, what happens is like we generally two set of patients comes to us. One, they say that it becomes really difficult for us to fall asleep. We keep on just tossing and turning on the bed. Their THC help you in quick onset of the sleep, right? And CBD is the one that's helpful to the people who actually have a lot of interrupted sleep. They keep on just getting up 3 or 4 times in a day, especially the women. After a certain age of time,
You get restless.
yes, restlessness is there, anxiety is there. So in those cases, it will help you in just maintaining that sleep throughout the night.
Yeah. And uninterrupted sleep is what
Uninterrupted sleep.
which is so important.
Yes. Because if you are not actually able to maintain that sleep throughout the, I mean, if you're sleeping only for 5 hours also a night, but that isn't uninterrupted, the quality of sleep will do
It's much better.
everything what the sleep requires.
Correct. So sometimes the benefits of cannabis medicines are hard to detect, or the side effects might be so strong for first-time users. Now, what would you recommend to anyone who's trying cannabinoid medications for the first time?
See, one thing is the patience. What happens is generally people come to us as a chronic ailment, because people are not much aware of it. So if it is not working for you today you will take the medicine and you expect results tonight. No, this is not going to happen. You have to be very, very patient. At least wait for 7-10 days. As I have said, it is going into your system, working on your system, and not just this, but also it is working on the symptoms, the root cause. As anxiety I mentioned, as I said, pain is not actually helping you out, so it is also working on them. So it will go correct, work on those symptoms, and then you will feel. So at least 7 to 10 days you have to be patient. Then of course a physician's responsibility is always there to start with a low dosage. That's what we do.
Correct.
So a doctor always advises you to titrate the dosage. Just assess how the medicine is working on me. Is it working? If not, then gradually you have to increase the dosage of the medication. That's the titration. And of course, at many times people are there who actually are on so many other medications.
Correct.
So, and people, what they do is they abruptly discontinue that medication. All right, now I'm on cannabinoid medication. It's going to do everything for me. It will do, but you have to gradually taper that off. So regular follow-ups with your doctor is also important.
Very
because
important.
this will be tapered out, and according to how your treatment is progressing, we will may require to decrease or increase the dosage.
Like with any medication for that matter. It's not a solo journey, and I completely agree with you. It's a journey where sometimes it truly takes a community to come together to really help you feel good, and that's not just with making sure that you've got the utmost support of your physician, but also of doing some practices to just be a little bit more mindful. I think all of these things just make you feel so much more holistic, so much more better. But it is very important to be consistent and to be very honest with your physician.
True.
And to go for regular follow-ups, which I know you're very serious about. Correct. Okay. So thank you, Dr. Bhanu, for answering my questions. I'm sure it's been very, very insightful. And I've also proved that there's no such thing as silly questions. Now, we would love to hear from our audience now. So feel free to either drop your questions in the chat below, or the best way is just unmute yourself and let's just have a very open-ended conversation. That's how we like it. We like to keep it raw. Over to you guys now.
Hi, Dr. Sharma. That was very helpful. Thank you so much. I was wondering, I've heard that consuming sleeping supplements might result in very vivid dreams. Is this the case with cannabinoid medication as well?
No, not at all. Because cannabinoid medication is working on the sleep architecture, right? It is actually maintaining the sleep throughout. Whatever the chemicals or the sleeping aids that you have been using, they are actually artificial ones. And what happens is when you are dreaming, that means you never get that depth of the sleep. But cannabinoid medication works on is using your body's own system and helping you in getting you good sleep.
Thank
And
you.
majorly what happens is we have a third stage of a sleep. It works there and gives you the most. It works on the third stage, that is deep stage, deep sleep stage, right? It will go and correct that.
Understood. I was also wondering,
Hmm.
sometimes when I can't fall asleep, I'll put on a TV show or I'll listen to music. Is is that a good method to fall asleep? Because it works, and I just wanted to know if it works, should I fix something that's not broken?
See, this is actually, that's what I always say to my patients, that what you're experiencing and what you're thinking about it may not be helpful in a longer way. Because, if you're watching something, you're actually accessing to the blue lights, right? And these blue lights are actually interrupting with the formation and the secretion of the melatonin hormone into your body. Once
Yeah.
that gets disrupted, maybe you're not experiencing it now, but actually in the later span of time, then you will become an insomniac patient, because this melatonin hormone, we call it as sleep hormone, right? And sleep hormone helps you in maintaining and promoting the sleep. And also, it's not just about the sleep hormone. You need to understand this is an antioxidant also. That when we say that sleep is important, why? Because of melatonin hormone. You will, and gradually, when you just keep on doing this, you will just miss that beat. Your rhythm will just fall off, right? And this is how you become insomniac. So if you are into doing a practice of doing this, please stop doing it now and look for some other options.
I would actually like to ask a question very similar to that. I understand that watching films and shows might not be a very productive way of sleeping, but what about this new thing that I'm telling you that I've done that as well, is that there are these sleep meditations, so, and affirmations for, for success, affirmations for I don't know, no anxiety, stuff like that. So do you think putting that on YouTube and then trying to sleep and just falling asleep is healthy? Because I still feel like I still wake up a little drowsy, because I, in the middle of the night, I do get up to turn off the iPad or the phone, but in a way it's working with my subconscious as well. So something like that, do you think that is okay because I'm getting meditation into my sleep?
So why with the gadget? Why not the natural one? Because there are so many guided sleep meditations also, which you can always practice it, and then they will help you in getting you good sleep, because they will align your disturbed circadian rhythm. So once it is aligned, I don't think so you require anything like that.
Okay.
And that's why we always say stick to a time.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
it's your body's own rhythm. That's a natural biological clock. You have to just align it.
I guess understanding ourselves is one of the hardest things,
Yeah, and that's what
right?
cannabinoid medicine is actually trying to do it. That's why we are asking you to start this also at a particular fixed timing, because that will help you in aligning that circadian rhythm of yours, which is gone offbeat. And then and we're not always asking people to just continue with the medication.
I was just about to ask you that. Does it mean that if I've started a medicine just to make my life be a little bit more disciplined and consistent, does it mean that I have to follow through with it my entire life? Or
No.
does it mean that it just helps me get a good footing, a good ground to just, stand tall, and then I can walk myself?
Correct. Because that's what I was saying. There are three causes. So it's not
Yeah.
just working on the symptom, it's working on your pain part also, it's working on your anxiety part also. And of course, it's working on the ECS also. So it is actually aligning that circadian rhythm. So if you're consistent with the medication, after a certain point of time, we actually try to withdraw the medication from the system. But provided, like if anyone is suffering from any kind of, like patients are suffering from osteoarthritis, in that case, of course, it's a different
Of course.
problem, because dependency is because of the ailment that's
Correct.
It's an irreversible kind of ailment that the patients are battling.
Do you feel like there's any other question you want to, probably talk about in terms of insomnia and cannabinoid medication?
See, when we talk about the insomnia, people need to understand this. Sleep, as I've already said, that actually a lifestyle disorder.
Yes.
That's a self-created problem.
It's one of the hardest things that I think this, not just the generation, but I see that not just with me and, my peers or my friends or my loved ones, but I see that with my parents, that it's across age groups. It's so hard to be consistent. It's so hard to be consistent.
Yeah.
And sleep is just one of the things that we need to be consistent
Because
with.
that's the most neglected thing.
Most
Diya.
neglected. We
Yes,
take it for
and
a joyride.
correct. Because we have been from a generation wherein people used to think that, all right, so what? I mean, we are studying till 2 in the morning. We are
Sleep
studying.
it away.
क्या फर्क
Yeah.
पड़ता है?
हाँ.
But now when we are in an era, especially post-COVID, when we are so much into the good, talking about the immunity boosters, we're talking about the anti-aging, we are talking about so many things, then one has to understand that if you're not sleeping enough, you will not, all these things will not give you those benefits that you're actually aiming at.
Correct.
Infertility has become such a major problem.
I guess that's also a very interesting conversation.
Yes, because post-COVID, I think it's any epidemic that which we are going to encounter with, that's gonna be infertility, because all your low secretions of fertility hormones that's happening, and so people really need to understand this. And when and also when people come to us, like many times people say that when they come to me for for the problems like sleep deprivation, and I prescribe them this cannabis medication, then people say, why not something else? Then I always say, see, if you are battling with insomnia and if you have problems like PTSD, right? So what would my prescription be? Something for your anxiety, something for your pain, something for your stress management, and then something for your sleep, right?
Correct.
4 medication.
Crazy.
And now I'm giving you 1. So we are here with the Vikalp. We are giving you substitute. Instead of 4, we are not giving you baggage. We are giving you just medication which will work on the entire thing.
And naturally.
Yeah, naturally.
I guess one thing that I have noticed a lot of our customers have is the first question they always have with anything to do with cannabinoid medications is the legality of it. So according to you, when someone comes and asks about, is it legal to have these medicines, what would you say to them?
It is definitely, it's legal, and but most important thing is that because we are using leaf and seeds, they are legal. It's not we are not using the flower or the bud.
And it's legal in India. So can you share some more? Can you make someone feel more confident in this science?
See, actually, what happens is whenever we talk about CBD or cannabis medicine, people associate with that. All right, I'll get high. Because we have been raised like that, listening to that song, na Dam Maro Dam.
Oh God.
But this doesn't happen.
Yeah.
See, that was, I don't know what strain they are using, what quantity they have used, but when it comes to the medicine, we are using it in a very proper formulation are there. And THC is the one which actually creates that intoxicating effect, which can give you high. But when we talk about the medication, it has just trace of it. The larger part is the CBD, and all these cannabinoids are together there. So, and together they are giving you synergistic benefits.
Okay.
In cannabis, when we talk about the cannabis medication, this term is known as entourage effect. Right?
Okay. Interesting. Okay, so we've got 2 very interesting questions from our viewers. Are there any side effects with cannabinoid medications that we've not already answered?
Actually, nothing side effects like that. But yes, when you introduce something new into your body, one thing that people come to us is like, all right, we feel a little drowsy or we feel a little groggy the next day. So that's something natural to happen, but it is something which has come and which will go and settle down in 2 days, right?
Okay.
Then people complain as there's a lot of dryness in your mouth. If that happens, just put a little bit of the lychee seeds into your mouth and that will be settled down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the third thing is that, this is a rare thing to happen, but it does happen. People say that, all right, I had a little bit of palpitation in my heart. See, that comes and that goes. But if it is for more than 3 days, then you have to go and get it checked from your cardiologist, because it has got nothing to do with the cannabinoid medication. That is something else.
Something else. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Another question we've got is, if I sleep late one day, can I tweak my dosage? That's an interesting question.
See, if you fast today, if you're keeping a fast today, one day before, do you eat double?
No.
Or next day, do you eat double because you
Not at all.
You have to fix with the dosage. You have to stick with the dosage.
Hmm.
That's it.
And you have to also connect with your physician and have
Yeah.
open-ended conversations about it. Wow, we're just getting questions one after the other. Kanak is asking, are these medicines legal in India? Is this addictive? Thank you, Kanak, for asking this question. Before you answer, Dr. Bhanu, this is one such question we get all the time
All the time, and
because
in every consultation, I have to answer this
because
question.
this is a conversation. People directly connect cannabis with the other names that it has as well. So what would you say to Kanak? Are these medicines legal in India? Are these medicines addictive?
See, as I have already said, that these are legal, and especially when we are using the leaf, that's legal, right? Leaf and the seed, both of them are legal, and they are not addictive at all. We haven't seen any addiction. It's the THC which is actually which can give you that addiction. But when we talk about the cannabinoid medication, THC is only present in it in trace, just in traces.
Primarily, it is CBD
It's
that you
primarily
find
it is
in
CBD. Yeah.
the medicines. Correct. Correct. Do we have any more questions?
And when we talk about addiction, I always say we are addicted to the phones also.
We are.
People are addicted to the alcohol. People are addicted to the caffeines.
Yeah.
And it is not at all addictive. At least WHO hasn't
Yeah.
said that.
Yeah. Okay, I'll ask you a question now.
And it
Meanwhile,
has the highest safety profile.
Is
That's what
yeah.
WHO has said. Yes.
Yeah. And don't you think that almost any problem we have, we just need to look back at our ancient wisdom. We've got it all.
Yeah.
Like the science of cannabis medicine is something that has been believed, has been a core belief of Indian medicines, and it's we've got the answers for all. What do you have to say about that?
See, actually, it has always been part of our prescription, especially in Ayurvedic practitioner we talk about. And when we talk about cannabis medicines, it is not advisable for the pregnant ladies and the breastfeeding
Of course.
mothers. But people when they are into the
Yeah, go on.
yeah, sorry, actually I missed it because of that. Yeah, but when we are actually treating patients for infertility, we prescribe those medications to people who have cannabis into it. It is that effective.
Okay. We've got another question. Surya is asking, what happens if I miss taking my medication one day? Can I make up for it the next day?
Yeah, you can.
How?
See, actually, you really need to be consistent. But if you have missed it for today, then what could be done? Then you have to take it to the next day.
I guess one such question they might also be having is, does that mean they need to take a double dosage the
No,
next time?
that's
But it's
what
the
I-
same fasting answer
Yes.
that she's going to say, that if you fast a day before, if you're going to fast tomorrow, that doesn't mean that I'm going to eat more today
Yeah.
to make up for that. Let it go. And you might just be surprised if you miss your medication for one day. Maybe you might actually be able to get a good night's sleep. You might notice that your dependency is maybe becoming lower because you've been consistent for a while.
And of course, I think people think that it's a sleeping pill. That's what we are
Yeah.
saying. It's not a sleeping pill. It's working on your
It's a
system.
regulator.
Yes.
It's a regulator. Well, I think we've got loads of questions that we've answered, and thank you again, Dr. Bhanu. Your inputs have been super helpful. Thanks to each one of you who've taken out the time on Saturday, who've attended our very first Savikalpa Sanchaar webinar, where we discuss everything from back pain to migraines to muscle soreness to arthritis and a lot more. We hope we've answered all your questions today, and we look forward to seeing you next month. We're dropping links to some of our blogs in the chat below. So if you want to learn more about sleep and other ailments or anything to do with cannabinoid medicines, then you can. Other than that, if you do want to connect one-on-one with Dr. Bhanu and have a more candid, personal conversation, we do have a virtual clinic as well. So you can still enjoy from the comfort of your sofa, your bed, and have very open-ended conversations with a very warm in-house physician of Savikalpa. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Diya.
And I'll get back to my coffee now.
Back to my tea.